Okay guys, I'm going to go ahead and create a 3D model of the object represented in drawing 3 on the dimensioning worksheet, and then I am going to create a properly dimensioned multi-view CAD drawing of that object. So I have it loaded up here. Here's what I have. This is what I'm looking like, and I need to create this in Fusion. So I'm going to start by creating the overall large shape, and then I'll subtract out some. So if I look at the overall dimensions, the width is 3.5 inches, the depth is 2.5 inches, and the height is 3 inches. So I'm going to come over to Fusion. I'm going to create a sketch. I'm going to choose the bottom plane. I'm going to drag out a rectangle that is 3.5 3.5 wide by 2.5 deep. I'm going to finish that sketch, and I'm going to extrude it 3 inches. I have it in fractional form. If I wanted to change that from fractional form, if I take a look at the drawing here, you're going to notice that it's 2.5, not 2.5, 3.5, not 3.5. I can do that by clicking on Preferences underneath my icon up here. And when that pops up, I'm able to come down to Unit and Value Display, and then I can change that to decimal or fraction. If I put it into decimal, it'll eventually jump back. Let's see if it's done that yet. Sometimes that gets a little bit laggy, so it'll appear at some point, but I can still enter my data in there, or enter my dimensions in there in fractional form, and it'll automatically convert. Okay, so now I'm going to I'm going to do this portion here. The first feature I'm going to do is going to be that rectangle that's cut out and dropped down. That rectangle's dimensions, if I look carefully, it's 2 inches deep, so I'm going to use that measurement. I'm going to use this measurement, which is this 2 plus that half, so it's 2.5 wide, and then I can deduce, since this whole thing is 3, this is 1.5 and this is 1, that must be just 1/2. So I'm 2.5 by 2, and it's extruded down a depth of, or a height of 0.5. So I'm going to go ahead and draw here, and this rectangle I'll lock from the bottom, and that will be 2.5 tab 2, and go ahead and hit enter, and then I'm going to extrude that, apologize, I'm going to extrude that downwards 0.5, hit OK. So I got that section out. The next feature I'm going to do is going to be, I'll erase this real quick just so we can stay clear on exactly how I'm doing it. The next section will be this portion here, and that portion, if I go to get my dimensions off of here, that is 2 wide right there. I'm picking up that 2, and then I'm going to be getting this right here, which is 1.5, and that goes down an inch. So using that, I'm going to go 2 by 1.5. So I'm going to click a sketch. I'm going to choose this face right here, and I'm going to come over to tab 1.5. I'll tap enter. I'm going to finish that sketch, and then I'm going to drag that down 1 inch. Or obviously I could enter -1 and hit OK. The next thing that I'm going to do is to place that hole. Now I'm going to do that by drawing a circle. I know there's a hole function in Fusion. We haven't used it yet. I think just placing a circle and extruding it to make the hole is the easiest way to do it right now. So I'm going to look at that. That is 1 inch. So I got to place the center on there. That center is 1 inch from the right edge and 3/4 inch from the bottom edge, and the hole itself is a diameter of 1. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sketch on this plane. I'm going to simply make a circle. Please note I'm not placing it anywhere. I'm going to make a circle and enter 1 for its diameter. And then I'm going to use this sketch dimension to position it. I'm going to click on the bottom line and then that circle. I like to drag it out this way, and then I will type 1 and it'll automatically move it. I'm realizing that I believe should be 3/4, so I'm going to double click on that to change, and I'm going to enter 0.75, and that looks a little bit more correct. I'm still in sketch dimension mode, so then I'm going to come over here, touch this right edge and touch that circle. I like to drag down so it helps me visualize. I'm going to type 1, and that is properly positioned. The hole goes through, and I know that because I can look at these lines right here. So that goes all the way to the bottom. So in Fusion, rather than really extruding to a depth, I'm just going to pull the arrow and go out past the bottom. Okay, so this right here is the properly modeled piece. That looks exactly like this. All the dimensions were carefully laid out. I'm now going to go to drawing mode, and I'm going to create a drawing of this. So drawing from design, I'm going to change it to sheet size A and hit OK. And inevitably this always takes a little time to switch environments. Okay, so check up here on visible and hidden edges. I'm going to place my base U, which is my front and bottom left hand corner. I'm going to hit OK. Now I'm going to come up to projected view, and I'm going to drag out the top, the right, and the isometric, and hit the check mark. And now I'm going to go ahead and start dimensioning. So looking at what I'm going to need to do, I'm going to draw this over a little bit. I'm going to have to put the critical dimensions. That is to say, I'm going to need the depth of the smallest one, the next one, and the next one. Beginning with the end in mind, I'm going to go ahead and hit dimension, and I'm going to nest this. So for my vertical measurements, I'm going to click on this line and this line, put that there. I'm going to click on this line and this line, put that there, and click on this one, and come out here. Now what I can't locate yet on the depth is going to be that circle. So I'm going to need to adjust this slightly. So I'm going to right click and hit OK, and I'm going to drag these back. I'm going to drag that center circle right over that 2.5. I'm going to drag that circle. Don't want it to become crowded. If I have to, I'll drag that first one more back more. But I'm also going to need that on there. That's critical. So this is actually easier to me to read because it's not chain dimensioned. Now I'm going to look at this to that. I'm going to bring that down to here. I do not like this line crossing that 75. I might have to adjust that. I stand by. If you zoom in and you can adjust this. there. It's going to go there. And that's going to go there. So what I want to avoid is having a bunch of chains where I have to do a lot of thought. Everything is taken from a baseline or a datum point. That's a little bit easier. Now, the only other thing I need on that view is going to be a leader line, which I'm going to drag out over there. That looks a bit busy, but well, that's kind of how it goes. Alright, so now I'm going to do my height dimensions on this one. I'm going to go from here to here. I'm going to go from here to here. And I'm going to go from here to here. At this point, I'm starting to look whether or not I'm done. Looking at features, I have the top feature is covered by the 2, the 2.5, and the 0.5. This feature is covered by the 1.5, the 2, and the 1.5. And that's another inch down. And the overall dimensions are done. The hole is located. I can find the center where I'd want to put a drill bit, and I can find the diameter, so that's good. So at this point, I believe this is good. I'd come on here and I would delete that view. And this would be a properly dimensioned drawing of that. We're not going to worry about filling this title block in right now. Certainly if we were working in a business environment, I would do that, and we'll get some practice doing that. But that's how I would do that.